Okay, you're all very welcome. It's great to see you. The first piece of news I have to deliver isn't good. I have to cut you all short, so I'm going to give you, they may say 5 minutes up there. I want you to take 3.5 to 4 minutes because we're really short on time. I can smell food coming from the back. So let's hand over straight over to you, please. Qatar isn't Greece, very different environment. Give us your thoughts, please, on this issue of tourism connectivity and its importance in bringing countries together.
First of all, I would love to thank the economists for having me here, and I'm really pleased to join.
Let's give them a second to get the sound up. Gents, can you have another go?
Yeah, I'm very pleased to be joining this stage among you distinguished gentlemen here and great audience. Actually, if you talk about Qatar and Greece, I think we are sharing many things together. First of all, we share the same level of hospitality and culture, and we trying to even increase this transaction of travelers between Greece and Doha. We have around 3 daily flights between Doha and Athens and other cities in Greece, which is almost fully booked. So, and Qatari-Greek relationship, it's at its highest. We have, at least in the last 2 years, we have 4 visits for His Highness the Emir to Greece. And we keep receiving many delegations from Greece to Doha. There is many to share, and especially in my sector in tourism, we're trying to learn a lot also from the great experience with for the tourism here in Greece. We're trying now, especially in 2 years or 3 years ago, we made tourism is one of our main pillars of diversification of our economy. And we have highly focused on tourism, especially after the World Cup, and trying to utilize the awareness being created after hosting the World Cup in Doha. And I can see now even Qatar World Cup being repeated now while US hosting the World Cup now. Therefore, and to keep this achievement, we focus on tourism. We successfully received around 5.2 million visitors in 2025. We were flying this in the beginning of this year, but unfortunately, this crisis occurred and disturbed a lot of many initiatives we were preparing of. But we showcase how Qatar is resilient, focus about how to overgap this crisis. Because tourism is very critical infrastructure. It should have, because it's bring foreign investment, tourists, creating jobs, and should be work as like the system should be prepared for any crisis could occur. And we saw it when the crisis occurred in the region, how Qatar responded to this crisis, how we worked together with other stakeholders, how to protect around more than 12,000 tourists who was in Doha, being stranded in Doha. The government worked very highly about to protect them, safeguard everyone in Qatar, and to facilitate their way back and repatriate to their homes. And I'm very sure that every one of them went back home with a great memory, how he was safe in Doha. We facilitate many things, and this is because we were like prepared for such crisis could happen. And this is how also tourism, very sensitive sector. It can be affected with any disturbance around. But if you were very well prepared, you can recover faster than others.
Right. Okay, thanks very much. We'll come back to that point about recovery and resilience in a second, but before we do, let's move on to Mr. Agiosolu from Public Road Transport. OSY, this issue of the connecting capability of transportation, you know, rather than just buses and coaches, we're talking about people interacting with people, transacting with people. Give us your thoughts, please, on the role of your organization in bringing that about.
First of all, I would like to thank you, the economists, for giving us the opportunity to share some thoughts here today. I would like to share a point from my good friend Apostolos, who said that transport is not about mobility only. Public transport in Athens is not about moving people only. First of all, we were the point of the spear to changing technologies in the mobility. We brought electric mobility in Athens with our electric buses since 2024, and now we are increasing our fleet with electric and modern buses all the time. But it's not only about that. We are also looking into the hydrogen mobility, but that's the technical side of it. What we are aiming to do is to create an experience for our passengers. Because creating an experience for our passengers with quality service and making their routes more pleasurable in order to come to us, to be with us, is very important because we are solving other problems as well in Athens. For example, congestion and traffic problems that are huge in the greater Athens area, in the greater Attica area, to be honest. And therefore, it is very, very, very important to create an experience such as this one with quality service, good buses, in the very hot summers, air conditioning, in the very cold winters, good heating environment in the buses. We are training our drivers, our staff, to confront several situations that in a big capital of about 5 million people can happen every day with more than 1,500 buses on the road, you understand? And therefore, this is the kind of experience we want to offer to our customers. Because we want to come back to numbers that will help the Athenian public to be more friendly to the public transport. For example, we are now about 25% of the population of Athens use the public transport, and especially buses and trains. Yeah. And our strategic plan that is already ongoing up to 2035 is to come up to 40%. This is the important thing. We want to look at our customers not only as just people that are moving around and going from one point to another. We want to look at our customers in a different way. The tourists, for example. We are offering a service to the tourists during the 24-hour movement from the center of Athens to the airports, to the port where the cruise is increasing all the time. The everyday people that are moving from one place to another, going to work, we wanted to make them happy to go to work. This is the point that we want to make in the public transport system in Athens. We are about to complete that in 80% of all the efforts we made the last 6 years, with all the investments that went into it, more than 2 billion euros went into changing the fleet and to creating all the necessary infrastructure that has to be supported from that. And we are 2 years away from completing this particular project altogether.
Excellent, thank you. If you're not careful, people aren't going to want to get off your buses. Your problem is going to be turfing them off instead of bringing them on. Okay, let's move along to Georgios Kormas, Onyx Touristiki. You're right in the middle of the tourist business and in the middle of the tourist season. So give us your thoughts, please, on the role that tourism can play in drawing communities and countries together.
Thank you very much. First of all, I would like to thank The Economist and Nectaria in particular for inviting us on this panel, and we are happy to be long-lasting supporters of the events and the conferences that you are organizing. Like you correctly said, we are spot on the business, and the opportunity to talk about infrastructure and transport is very important. Why is this very important? Because up until now, we considered infrastructure as being like networks, roads, railroads, and similar, meaning static things. What the new thing is that we want to bring into the discussion is the business perspective that is attached to that. And the business perspective enables regions to attract capital, individuals, talent, and visitors, and create an ecosystem out of it. Meaning that you have a brave new world that is being set up and is heavily depending on infrastructure and transport, obviously. Now we come, and I will take this and elevate this at the country level, where Greece is really in the middle of geographically, I mean, between the Balkans, continental Europe, Mid East, and so on. So it is the one and only bridge that could get these two worlds together. Why is this very important? Because it can create the right development model. If you have the right development model, then you do attract all these resources that go along with the expansion and the maintenance of existing or future networks in place. And now we come down to tourism, our business. Tourism is actually the instrument that could support Greece or other regions that may have similar characteristics and create the platform, actually, and an ecosystem joining diverse worlds, this being travelers, suppliers chains, and similar. So if you have and you create this ecosystem, then you give a sustainable future for the place that this is created. It means that you create small islands of, I wouldn't call it independence, but I would call it islands where you amalgamize many different worlds, and these at the same time can serve as a center or an area of security and a base for expanding to further objectives, if you may wish so. This is very important for the entire region. It has been before mentioned that a European network that would be connecting capitals is in progress, which is something very welcome because this allows people to travel around without having any barriers and so on. I can still recall my surprise when I have studied in Germany. So I'm an economist by profession, so when I first went there and found out that there is a common railway ticket to go around Europe, it was like me in the Alice in Wonderland. I didn't do it, but at least the opportunity was there and it was given. Something similar is there. But nevertheless, I would like to stress at this point that it is important to establish areas also outside the main areas, like the capitals or similars. And having said that, I also want to, and I will close with that, I would like also to welcome the 3Cs initiative that has previously as well been mentioned. And within these 3Cs, obviously, we do represent the Aegean Sea, and we would like and welcome to create and establish it as one of the three main pillars within that. Onyx Touristiki is actually the reality, the living example of what I just described. We are actually combining in one location a serious and very well-known established holiday destination, but we further and extend the product from being it seasonal, 5-star nice hotels, June to September. We will be establishing the new product, which is longevity, zero carbon impact, and operations throughout the entire year, meaning feeding the need for networks to feed in and to give out to the society as well a year-round product.
Okay. You mentioned 3Cs initiative. It's interesting. We think of that, I think, in terms of infrastructure and trade more than anything else. So how does tourism fit into that 3Cs structure? What role does it play? How does it contribute to the 3Cs initiative? Briefly, if you would.
The thing is that, as I already mentioned, the establishment of a network between these 3Cs strengthens the entire area. It gives it a strategic advantage as well for civil purposes, but for other purposes that were mentioned already before. So, and within this area, tourism is not is the predictability and the focus on that. And tourism is the vehicle to establish this network and strengthen it. Because mobility, if you don't have mobility, if you don't have people living and setting up their lives within this area, in our case, the 3Cs area, then you get the entire area being weakened. Okay. And this we get to see in many countries, as well in Greece. I mean, in Greece we have, unfortunately, the centralization of within 2-3 cities all over Greece, and the rest is left to its own devices, or had been left up until now. Now there is serious moves to enforce and strengthen these areas. If we take this example and roll it out to the 3Cs, it is exactly the same. You strengthen the entire area, then you build a frontier that can afford any challenge. Let me put it this way.
Okay, thank you. You've faced and mentioned some quite challenging circumstances for tourism in the Gulf area. And, you know, it's pretty obvious to say that peace will encourage tourism and will help the recovery of tourism. But can the recovery of tourism help peace? So can the recovery of tourism be a contributor to a more stable and a more peaceful region?
Of course, you know, I came from diplomatic background, and I can see how diplomatic tourism can play a diplomatic role, especially in this. By bringing life back to usual, by our initiatives in tourism and trying to send a message and a comforting message to everyone, we are safe, we are secure, and we are heading to our goals. I think this could give comfort message for everyone and come back. And part of our recovery plan we implemented when it was middle of the war, because I was very confident that our leaders, especially in GCC, they would do whatever it takes to stop this war, because our region didn't meant to be at this situation. So our recovery plan that about to attract our neighbors in GCC, and part of it also the operation of Qatar Airways was gradually every 2 weeks we have increased our operation in very steady plan. Then we can have, when the summer ends, we can go back to Europeans and Americans and to call them to come back again to our region. This and by hosting like many big events beginning from September, I think also can spread a positive message to bring peace and to call for peace. And this is what Qatar usually do, and it's very crucial for us to bring peace back to the region. And especially if you look, and I join Mr. Georgios also, yeah, tourism is really a vehicle and can connect every other stakeholder to one goal by establish a new accessibility, connectivity, and using, like, for us, Qatar Airways play a very important role in this. Qatar Airways going to more than 170 destinations between Europe, Africa, Latin America, and Asia, Australia. So Qatar become also a gateway connecting east to west, and not only these traditional corridors, but also the emerging markets, which I think for us, it's represent for us more than 30% of our tourists. And it's very healthy also bring also these people who might come without considering, is it peaceful now or is it not peaceful? Not
Yeah.
everyone looking into the region in the same point of view.
Okay, excellent. Well, it's reassuring and encouraging to know that when I'm lying on my sun lounger with a margarita, I'm contributing to world peace and to regional integration. That's a very comforting thought, and you're welcome, by the way.
Thank you.
Let's finish off by coming back to Mr. Agiosolu and to the Commissioner. One of the challenges that we face as a world, and we've been talking about a world in upheaval, is, it seems odd to say, but almost being neglected and left out of a lot of our conversations, and that is climate change. Other things have taken over, taken priority, but in transportation and in infrastructure and connectivity, sustainability has been a central driver of investment decisions and policy for a few years, many years. So I just wanted to bring us back to that, to reflect on, really I want to reflect on the potential contradiction between your desire to bring about rapid investment, rapid development, and yours, and the constraints imposed by the need for sustainability. So let's start with you in the context of transportation, public transportation here in Greece.
Public transport is a public good, but also the road public transport company is a business. We are now part of the growth fund, and we have introduced in all our operations governance, transparency, and we are doing that with resilience, and we are doing that with every modern way of governing a modern business. Because the whole investment that went into that is necessary to have these attributes in order to go ahead and be able to serve the government's policy, the Ministry of Transport policy, to provide a public good that is also very cheap, but on the other side, to have the opportunity to create a business that is profitable and that is sustainable for the future. And everything that we've done in infrastructure is using material that are now very friendly to the environment, like photovoltaic things for our electricity in order to make it more sustainable. And also we are using the latest AI techniques in all our operations now in order to provide a better service, but also to try and cut back in our expenses and things like that. And we are investing a lot in our personnel, because we are a company that is based on people, and especially drivers, and drivers are a bit difficult at the moment all over Europe. And therefore, this is our aim, not only to provide a public good, but also to be sustainable, profitable, and good for what we're doing.
Thank you very much. Commissioner, I think I know the answer you're going to give me, but I'll ask anyway. Is there a contradiction between the pace of development and the extent of development you want to see in transportation and infrastructure across the bloc and the requirement for sustainability? Is that a contradictory situation you find yourself in, or are they complementary?
Absolutely not. Sustainability, first of all, we have to underline this. Sustainability has not to do only with the environment. Sustainability involves the resilience of the infrastructure, it involves the economy and development, it involves the society. So I would tell you, and the well-being, of course, of all local communities. So sustainability and development must and will go and is going hand in hand. After all, if you look about it, if you think about it, what has been happening in the past few years in our continent, you realize that sustainability is actually interlinked with our resilience. Why? Because let's take, for example, the fossil fuels that we are importing today, if we talk about energy, for example. What we need is we need a European continent that is going to be not dependent from any other third country. How are we doing this? Through investing on sustainable energy, through dealing with the CO2 emissions, not only in the logic of how to protect the environment anymore, but how to make Europe more resilient, more autonomous, stronger. So I would tell you that in the same goes with the infrastructure across our continent. Resilience and sustainability go hand in hand. And I'm here as the commissioner responsible for infrastructure, transport, shipping, and tourism to make sure exactly that. We are not going to create a difference between how we reach the goal of a sustainable European infrastructure network, putting at the same time at the forefront the development and the upgrade of all of our infrastructure that would benefit our citizens, would benefit our economy, and our security as well.
Excellent. Thank you, gentlemen. We have more sessions later in the day, so I expect to see all of you back for those. Before we send you off for lunch, please join me in thanking our panel. Thank you very much, gentlemen.
Thank you very much.
Thanks.
Thank you.
Pleasure as always.